Good morning and welcome to my live stream, Fight CPS with your host, Bob Pace. It's a warm welcome, and I'm glad you found me on Facebook. I have 7 rooms that connect you up to this room, and I have one from YouTube. And we're here to not get rid of CPS, we're here to deal with the CPSs that are corrupt. I'm sad to say that 50% of the child protection services in every county in every state and worldwide are corrupt. You have a 50-50 chance of getting a agency that will help you with your family. The Child Protection Services is a government entity that was started by an act of Congress in the United States in 1962 that directed social services to create a group of social workers to protect our children from neglect and abuse, but also to do family reunification, to bring back a family if they have to take the children out because the children are not safe. And that's all done through family reunification. Excuse me 1 second here. And it's a hard thing to be faced with because you're not prepared for it. It's a life skill that seems to escape all the life skills that we're supposed to be taught. That's the hard thing about life. It isn't life skills are not normally taught anymore in schools, and if they are, they're very far and few. I think life skills should be started at your first year of schooling, whether it's in preschool, prep K, kindergarten. It should be carried on through elementary school, middle school, high school, college, even graduate work. The reason being is that there's tons of life skills that can be talked about that need to help out people. Simple things like bullying in your early years, how to deal with bullying, how to deal with strangers, how to deal with risks of, driving alone or the dating, the social things, sexual, drugs, and one of them could be about CPS. Now, CPS, I use the term child protection system because every county and every state, it's different names. Some are like in Los Angeles County, California, Department of Children and Family Services, you know, DCFS. C, I mean, CS. Then in Orange County next door, it's the Orange County, it's the Child Protection Services, CPS. But in Prescott, Arizona, it's Department of Children's Services. And in Richmond, Kentucky, it's the cabinet. So no matter where you're at, there will be a name, but it's easy for me just refer it as CPS. And it's found in every county. So if your county has 50 counties like California, that would be 50 CPS agencies. Like in North Carolina, there's 100 counties. That's 100 CPS agencies. Anyway, it's a government entity. It's supposed to protect our children and do family reunification. Well, it doesn't seem to be doing a lot lately. It seems to be hurting families and tearing apart families and no reunification. Now, I've been on this show here now for 25 months. That's over 2 years. And I'm on twice a day. I have my morning show on at 10 o'clock Monday through Friday, and then on the weekends at 8 a.m. So it's 10 a.m. and 8 a.m. is my morning show, Fight CPS with Bob Pace. Then my nighttime show is on every night of the week at 7 p.m. Occasionally, there are times that my times may change because of family commitments, but I try my best to stick to those schedules. And the times I'm giving you, by the way, or the West Coast of California Pacific Standard Time. I broadcast this live south of Los Angeles from a place called Surf City, USA, 3 blocks from the ocean. That's my home. And I'm here to help you, you know, navigate through this very complex agency because you need something very important with this complex agency. You need a attorney, just like you need a doctor in open heart surgery, you need an attorney. Now, I'm going to help educate you. And from my experiences, I too was a victim of CPS. I was too a victim. And what I hope with my experiences, an experience of 2,950 individuals from around the world that have joined me either by texting or phone calling in. That's over 25 countries, including the US. My recent country was Belize in Central America. And yes, it's international because this is a international live stream. Anybody that has internet can see this live stream. And what they can do is type in CPS, they'll come across it. They'll come across it. And a lot of people in the countries have the similar problems that people in the US have. And when talking to them, I try to help them. The other day, I had a person from New Zealand, a second person from New Zealand that called in about having trouble with their CPS. So it's a common thing. I'm not here to abolish CPS. We need it. There are over 1,000 children every day that go uh, without neglect or abuse that should have been neglect or abuse. And that's sad. That's a lot of people. So we do need that. We do need that. But anyway, I'm glad you found this. And one of the things you can do is you can text me a message. You can text me a message. It can either be a question or a comment about CPS. All I ask is you give me your name and where you're located. And if you're from outside of the United States, I need your country, your city, and your country. And I will help you also. That person from New Zealand was really reaching out. It's hard. It's hard. I've had 2 people. One was, it looks like a middle class family was having problems. And then one of the indigenous people of the country, the Maoris, are sometimes referred to as the All Blacks because of the rugby thing. They have a beautiful chant, a war chant that they do. So I used to play rugby. I played football. Love football. Football was so fun. And one of the teams I'm following had won another game in their way to get a national championships. My son played football, had 2 national champions. So I'm really into high school football and college football and pros because the same kids that I see at high school move on to college and you cheer them on in college and then they move on to the pro ranks. There's 2 good friends right now that play, one for the Detroit Lions and another one for the Carolina Panthers. And these 2 individuals I knew when they played at the high school where my son went to high school. And he received handouts. He was a running back. He received handouts from the quarterback, the star quarterback, and now he won quite well this weekend when the Carolina Panthers played. So anyway, I'm here to share my, you know, my experiences with a very difficult agency that went rogue. I did not know, but I believe now they are. And they're very corrupt. And it's sad because you, as a parent, expect the government to be, you know, unbiased and fair. And what's happened is that this CPS entity is far from it. Far from it. They lie, they cheat, they get so much money for doing all this. It's a $1 trillion business. Now, another way you can interact with this live stream, you can be a guest on my live stream. That's all you have to do to be a guest is send me an email of one of my 14 live streams. And I'd love to have you. I've had sometimes many as 4 of you on at one time. I can have 9 of you as a guest. One time was 4 Canadians. 2 were Indigenous. They call their Indigenous people the First Nation in Canada. They're the what Christopher Columbus gave to the Indigenous people when he found in the Caribbean. He never did set foot in North America. And that wasn't disproved. I mean, when I was in grade school, they still were thinking that Christopher Columbus was discovered. It wasn't until I believe it was the 60s when they corrected that. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. I don't think it was the 70s, but I think it was the 60s. But anyway, he gave the term Indians to the indigenous people of the world, and that kind of sticks. Now, I know that there are the Polynesians, which are the people that settled the islands in the South Pacific from their travels from island to island. In fact, there was a tiki, I want to say a raft expedition called Kon-Tiki, and it proved that you could sail a raft from South America and settle in the South Pacific. And there was also another expedition called the Raw Expeditions that could sail a reed boat from South Africa, or actually not from South Africa, but from Africa to South America. We've had a lot of migrations of people. That's what the world was about. They say that Homo started, the people. We've been around here, they say, as much as 2.8 billion years. That's hard to believe. Now, Homo sapiens, the modern man, has been around for at least 300,000 years. Anyway, they migrated out from the continent of Africa, spread eastward and westward, settling in Europe, settling in the Mediterranean, and going to Far East through Asia and China across the land bridge between Alaska and Asia. They came across and started migrating through Alaska, down through Canada, into the United States to South America. And then we had people that sailed rafts to go to the Polynesia. It's interesting how people migrated. But one thing they all had in common, they all had children. And children were very important to the early people. They were actually helping provide hard labor and work and maintain the family. You see, it isn't like today where our children usually don't get jobs until they're 18. Some do, some get them early on, and 15 and 14 to help out the family. But, children have always been very precious to family. And that's why they do family reunification, because studies have shown the best people to take care of children are the biological parents, the biological parents. And so if they did an error or did something wrong, they could be uh, corrected through parenting classes, through programs, drug rehab programs, domestic violence, those kinds of things. So that's where family reunification comes into play. And that's something you should always insist the courts, something you want family reunification. You don't want your children brought up by strangers. And if you have an issue or a problem, it can all be corrected. It can all be corrected. Um, Now, I mentioned about sending me an email. Make sure to include your name, your email, and your phone number, and send it to send it to bpace@vincentwdavis.com, and I will send it on to my show producer, who will schedule a date and a time for you, and send you a link. You copy and paste that link, and you'll be on. And I take as many as 9 of you, and then we can talk about your case or help one another, or help people in the room. But it's a good experience to be a guest. I look forward to your email. You just pick one of my 14 live streams. Just say, I'm Bob's Sunday morning show, or Bob's Friday night show, or Bob's Wednesday morning show. That's all you have to do. That's all you have to say. So the rules are simple. We respect one another in the room. We don't talk about politics. And we concentrate on CPS. Questions and comments are what we're looking for. And also, there is no profanity in the room. We don't use profanity, and we do not use the names of children, social workers, or the judges. We don't eat or smoke on the show, and we uh, try to help one another and respect for one another. Everybody's life is different, but the one thing we all have in common that we've encountered a bad CPS entity. And so we need to navigate through CPS. I don't know if you all know the story of Alice in Wonderland, but she was in the backyard and found a rabbit hole in her garden. She fell in. And when she fell in, she met the Chester cat. And the Chester cat ended up sending her to room after room that was going nowhere. Nowhere. And that's what CPS is. CPS, you're like Alice in Wonderland. They are crazy. They're the bad ones. The bad ones are bad. And their motive is this money. They get $20,000 per child per month for having a child in custody. They get additional $10,000 per month per child if they have special needs. And lastly, if they get adopted, they get a bonus of $35,000 from the federal government. So, you know, billions of dollars are going out to the state, and from the state, millions of dollars are going out to the county. And counties give out bonuses and help out their employees with expenses and stuff. And so they can make good money. It's sad because they make good money. They should be also respectful and be good to parents, but they lie. They are so much liars and they deceive. So a lot of deception goes on. They alienate your kids from the um, they alienate the kids from the parents, which is wrong, illegal. Now, besides being a guest, I also have a phone number you can call in, and its number is 626-698-0990. Now, I have some comments I forgot about, and I have some people that are regulars in my room that have come in here. And the first person to come in here, no more. It's like Hartzenberg, and she's from South Africa. She is a wonderful lady. She's in her 40s, but her son was molested by a pedophile, and the courts there in her Northwest province aren't doing anything to help her. And she has changed her name again. And she said her judge suddenly changed from EHAT, she said, last said. The third time she changed after she said she wanted a reunion. I can't anymore. It's okay. I cried out long enough. Nobody hears or helps. I'm trying to help you, Leica from South Africa. I'm trying to help you. Yeah, I see you changed your name, which is fine. Leica, you can't take it. Nobody. It's okay, Leica. Please don't leave. Come back, Leica. Come back. That is so sad. And that is from a person in South Africa going through emotional upheaval. And I've known her for months and months and months and months. And she calls in. You see, I've heard from people in Indonesia and Bangladesh and India, then up into up to the Middle East, Saudi Arabia, Iran, and then I've also heard from Libya, who got really destroyed really bad. And then from uh, the continent of Africa, I've heard from Liberia and Sudan and the Republic of Congo, Rwanda, Mozambique, and the country of South Africa, which Leica is from. And then I go up to Europe and hear from the United Kingdom, England, Scotland, Wales. And then I heard from Denmark and Sweden. Then across the pond to North America, I heard from Canada and its provinces. I hear from the United States, all 50 states have either texted in or called in about their issues with CPS. I heard from even a place like Washington, D.C., where our where the capital of the United States is and the government. And a lady there was having a very terrible time. She was raped twice in custody. That is so sad that would happen to her. Then we go south the border to Mexico, and then further south in Central America, Belize. Belize was the newest country that has text a message in or called in. Then we go to South America, north of Brazil. On the east coast is Grenada. And then from Grenada, we go to the South Pacific and we have New Zealand. And then we have the land down under Australia and its states. So that's total 25 countries. That's a lot of places that CPS is corrupt. And half of the states in the United States are corrupt. That's 50%. So in here, I will try to help you. You can call in at 626 698 0990. Now, I have Aaron from Tennessee. Good morning, Aaron. So glad to see you. So glad to see you. You have not been missing in action, been dealing with a mental breakdown. I can imagine. I go through it too. My case was over in 2017. It started in 2010. My children was taken in 2015. One of them was never returned. It's so sad, so tragic. I lost my favorite home. I had lost my job in the beginning, and having the stigma of CPS on your record is going to haunt you by getting work. It's bad enough when you're old and they don't want to hire old people. But when you have a stigma of CPS on your background, it's terrible. It's terrible. But I'm glad you're here, Aaron. And if I could reach out to you, I'd give you a warm hug. See, Erin's very special to me because her name is the name of my firstborn, Erin. She was born on May 2nd. The Erin on my live stream here was born on June 2nd, 30 days apart. But the name is beautiful. And it's funny how I came up with the name. I named it after the movie actress in Buck Rogers, the 25th century, Erin Gray. I thought Erin was a cool name. Also, it's an Irish name. And I don't have any Irish blood in me, but I thought the name was good. So when I met Erin here on my show from Tennessee, it brings back memories of my firstborn. I've not seen her since she was 3 years old. And sadly, uh, my first wife, who I had 10 years with, uh, said, "You never see your daughter again." And that's a hard thing for me to suffer because I had my second daughter, my biological daughter, that was taken from me by the social worker who insisted that our daughter divorce her parents. You see, the social worker was caught with perjury. She lied on the stand. And my attorney was Vincent Davis. He's so good that he trapped her in a perjury. But she retaliated and she instructed our daughter since she was 12 years old, and in California, you can ask for a divorce. No reason at all. Any 12-year-old in the state of California can say, "I want to divorce my parents," and they will give it to them. They will give it to them, which I think is wrong. I think that's wrong. 12 years is too young. Now, there are cases where the parents are so bad and corrupt that they have to. And I understand that. Uh, oh boy. Yes, I know that. Erin had lost two of her children. She has another two that she's trying to get back. Or I get sometimes confused, Erin. I don't blame you breaking down. Dealing with CPS is the hardest thing to deal with. I got an attorney. That's the key to success in your case. Ah, that's the key to your success. Now, who am I? I'm a loving father and a husband. I have 43 years of marriage. I've helped raise six children. Six children I have a connection with. Four of them are biological and two were adopted. That's where I get my six children. And to me, they're not adopted, they're my child. So I consider them all. It's three boys and three girls. And my oldest three are doing quite well. And even my youngest three are doing good. Of them, one I've not seen since the age of three. She's 36 now. So that's 33 years that I've not had the pleasure of watching her grow. But I reach out every day and love her so much. That one was never a part of CPS. My oldest boy, he's in his 40s. He's a JAG in the Air Force, doing quite well. He has a wife who's also a lawyer, and they have two children, and they seem to be doing well. CPS kind of alienated him from his mother. His mother had him because, unfortunately, she was raped and she didn't believe in abortion. So she gave him life. And by giving him life, he's turned out to be really great. But sadly, our older children have heard about our incident with CPS and they have taken a negative approach. So our oldest daughter at 25 moved out at 25 and she's 39 now. She has two children and a family, but we don't get to see her children or family. She too was troubled by what CPS said or did or whatever. See, CPS will ruin, it's a stigma, will ruin your family and your friends. Everybody will turn against each other. That's not what families are about. Families are loving each other. We all have strengths and weaknesses. We have a good and bad, but families united. I love the way the Polynesians and the Native American Indians or the First Nation Indians of Canada or all the indigenous people around the world. I've met so many in my travels. You see, I'm a world traveler. For 25 years, I traveled from place to place to follow surfing events and to organize and run surfing contests and even compete myself. But I met the world and I have a lot of friends I've met. And whether I'm in Chile or Argentina or Brazil or Portugal or South Africa or in Japan or Guam or the Philippines or Hawaii or Tahiti or the Cook Islands, the West Coast, the East Coast, I've been to almost all the states in the United States. I've been to almost all the states. So I have a good experience of travel, meeting a lot of people. There's a lot of good people. My life is very diversified. I have drivers that do race cars that are my friends that I've met over the years at the Formula One level, at the IndyCar level, at the NASCAR level. And so between the race car drivers and Formula, I also have football players. I love football and rugby. Those are two sports that I enjoyed. And they took me to traveling too. In rugby, you go all over the place. We went to a tour of England, Scotland, and Wales. That was remarkable. Also stopped in Holland stuff. Now, in Portugal, it was devoted to surfing. In France, it was surfing. I have been to extreme places in the North Seas, in Norway, a place called Bergen, to look at my ancestors, my Viking ancestors. And I got a chance to surf in Norway. That was quite an experience, quite cold, quite cold. I've surfed the Great Lakes. I've surfed the tidal bore in Wales in England, where it connects, called the Severn River. I've even done surfing on the Snake River in Colorado. It's a standing wave, but it's different. The Great Lakes was a hard experience because the lake freezes and the surf is far out. But I surfed the Great Lakes. My dad was as stationed up there in the Great Lakes. I went to visit him. I'll never forget how cold it was in Chicago getting off a bus from California, dressed like I'm at the beach. And you get out there in the Windy City, it was so cold. It was so cold. But being a world traveler made the world small to me and know everything. Surfing has been a really part of my life ever since I was introduced to it at the age of 7. And so I have a lot of life skills, a lot of life skills. Right now, if you're thinking about how to pay for an attorney, you should try to get legal insurance. A lot of us forget about that. There is legal insurance available. All you have to do is research and find it so that your retainers can be paid for. So if you have, let's say, a DUI or your children has a DUI, it's so important to have legal insurance because it's hard to pay the retainers or pay the cost of fighting something that's worth. I mean, I spent over $350,000 in lawyer fees with my CPS case. I lost over several $1 million to CPS. I lost my forever home. I lost a daughter to them. I cannot. They are so corrupt and so bad. But I don't want to abolish CPS. There was a person who did something similar to what I did. I never knew her. Her name was Nancy Schaefer. She's a senator from Georgia. She wanted to abolish CPS. I just want to change it. I want to correct it. We need a government entity protecting our children. We just need to have it with a check and balance. Social services and the child protection system need a check and balance. They need a board of directors or supervisors that meet and supervise these two organizations. And also, they need accountability where the money's spent. In Richmond, Kentucky, there's missing the $1 million. Now they've found 600,000 of it that was um, taken by a social worker in Richmond, Kentucky. He embezzled $600,000 of money that's earmarked there. I thought maybe that was a call, but that was my private line. That's the different kind of things there. So Anyway, um, I want to help you, Aaron. My son has a hand, foot, mouth. Apparently, is miserable. The foster says. I'm so sad to hear about that, Aaron. Good morning, Pamela Pritchett. Ask for Georgette. Tell her Pamela Pritchett's SOS. Oh, you're talking about one of our live stream people that talk about CPS. Kelly knows a couple of women's and children's hospitals, CPS team Oahu. I don't know what you're trying to convey, Pamela, but I'd love to hear more. I have no idea where you're from. We like people in this room to identify the location and have a question or a comment about CPS. Um, so I don't know a lot of these things there. The team from Oahu, the CPS team. Well, we have Polynesians, which I'm very partial to, but I don't know what you mean by CPS team in Oahu. Are you from Hawaii, Pamela? Is that from your place? And you had a CPS case and they came to the hospital and they took your child? Anyway, I have about 15 minutes left. My show ends at 11 o'clock, and it's 10:45. And please get your questions in. My phone number's up. Also, at this time, I'd like to mention a lawyer, a professional lawyer that you can hire. His name is Vincent W. Davis. Many of you have heard of him, but he is very well trained, educated, and schooled in juvenile law, family law, and dependency law. He's also a trial attorney. He can do criminal trials, he can do criminal matters. He's also a civil rights attorney where he can do lawsuits, and he's won back millions of dollars against CPS. He's gotten back thousands of kids in fighting CPS. He once was a foster kid himself, so he knows about that. He's been doing this now for 40 years. So he is the best attorney out there that I feel that you could get. Not the only one. There are a lot of good attorneys out there, don't get me wrong. But his number is next to my number. It's 888-888-6582. And you can call him for legal advice. And he can also retain him. Typically in LA County, where he works in Arcadia, his retainers are approximately $5,000. He's $500 an hour, approximate. It all depends on the complexity of your case and how long the case has been going on. So you need to contact him to get a firm price on that. But that gives you a ballpark to go by. Now, I know he does other states. I gave a quote of $125,000 in Atlanta, Georgia for him to come and defend a couple there. The reason why it's higher than in California is because he's got the airfare to get there. He also has the ground transportation to get around, and then the hotel for his accommodation, and then the food. Also, there's a license he has to acquire for that state because it's not practical for anybody to keep license in all 50 states. It's very expensive. So that gives you a little bit of idea about him. Um, he's a he is a fighter, and he was my attorney. So I strongly recommend you call him. When you first call the 888-888-6582, you'll get reception. Make sure you tell him that Bob Pace sent you. And then when you talk to him, make sure you tell him that Bob Pace sent you. And he will help you. He'll help defend your case and get your children back. So my strong emphasis is you need to get an attorney that can navigate, that is a proven track record, and Vincent Davis is the man. Now, I want to go over the people in my room again. We have Pamela Pritchett. I don't know if she's from Hawaii or not. She mentioned something about the hospital CPS team in Oahu. Then we have Erin, who is from Tennessee, who has really a hard time losing her child, which she shouldn't have. She shouldn't have. And no more is Leica Herzenberg from South Africa. She is devastated because the judge a third time has changed her mind. So, yes, I do have an international family as well as a national family. Everybody's my family that comes in here. And they always ask for questions or help. I want to help them. I want to help them. All you have to do is ask a question. Okay, we're getting close to the bewitching hour here, and I'd like to know more further what you're talking about, Pamela. I want to help you. Aaron, tell me what I can do to help you, Aaron. Tell me what I can do to help you, Aaron. Um, been kind of slow this morning, not too many questions. We've had Leica from South Africa that came in. She has a new name, No More. But anyway, we have Leica from South Africa, Aaron from Tennessee, and I believe Pamela's from Hawaii. I guess she mentions the Children's Hospital CPS team in Oahu, and she mentioned the Kapulani Kapulani. Um, Kapulani, yeah, that is correct pronunciation. Kapulani Women's and Children's Hospital. Okay, the name of the women's hospital is Kapalani. And there's something called the CPS team Oahu. I don't know what you mean by that. I don't know what you mean by that. Mm. Well, we're about down to about 4 minutes here before I have to end my show here. But I want to thank all my listeners. The newest person is Pamela Pritchett from the Capelloni Women's and Children's Hospital. And I don't know if she works for CPS in Oahu or not, but glad to have you here, Pamela. Love to hear what you want to say about CPS. There's Erin from Tennessee, who has really been in a mental state, losing her children. And I'm so sorry, Erin. I want to help you, and I know that it's really causing you a lot of mental breakdown. And not only that, Leica left. She is just so destroyed by her judge changing his decision a third time. And so it's really hard. She has a son that was molested by a pedophile, and they're taking it very lightly there in South Africa. She's from the Northwest province in South Africa. So to my Lyson Heisenberg and to Aaron and to Pamela, I want to help you. Now I'll be on again at um, 7 p.m. tonight. That's Monday night, October the 17th. It's the day after my birthday. Yeah, yesterday was my birthday, and I spent it twice yesterday with you guys. I was on there twice yesterday. And I really want to help you out. All you have to do is text me a message about a question or a comment about CPS, or be a guest on my live stream, or call in at 626 698 0990. Now, I don't have time for phone calls, so I'm going to switch that and put on the Department of Government Efficiency. Department of Government Efficiency is a new social organization. It's created by our president in January, and it's supposed to investigate all the government agencies and find any government waste going on. Now, right now, they're investigating social services and also the child protection system. Those two things are being known. I know that from firsthand. And also, they have a web page that tells you exactly what they're doing and how much money they're saving. They also offer you a job, a full-time career job. Furthermore, they have 2 phone numbers which you can call. Area code 202 is the White House, and they will talk to you. And then they have an email where you can send it to doge@mail.house.gov. Now, you should first try to make sure you settled your case at the county level. You have to deal with the supervisor, the manager, or the director. And if you can't resolve it there, then you need to go to the state capitol and try to resolve it there with a civil rights coordinator. If you can't resolve with a civil rights coordinator, then you need to go to the federal government, and that's where the Department of Government Efficiency comes into play. So I'll leave that number up there. There's going to be a brief video that follows me when I say goodbye. Please watch the video. Again, thank you, Pamela Pritchett from Capilani's Women's and Children's Hospital. Capulani, yeah, I said that right. Yeah, okay. And Aaron from Tennessee, and No More, who is Lisa Hartzenberg from South Africa. Thank you all, and thank you all for coming to my live stream. God bless you, and I'll see you tonight. And don't forget to never stop fighting for your kids. Good day.
A vivid picture is encrypted in your mind as the critics get in line like they're witnessing a crime. But then you notice there's a shiver in your spine from the feelings of discontentment and bitterness combined. Heartbroken when you listen to the judges, another kid's innocence corrupted, and if you go against then it's destructive. Consider this predicament the toughest, but we believe in a system fit for justice. Child Protective Services only pretends to save it. The one solution for this is worthy of instant praises. 30 years of experience with relentless cases. Allow me to introduce him. This is Vincent Davis, defending you when they don't think a mother fits the role. Is it juvenile dependency or government control? Observe the pain in their eyes. It's time for us to realize we are the
last ones left, but you're